Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. My name is Mo, and today we're gonna be talking about Xavi Hernandez publicly supporting Victor Font. Now, this news, of course, broke yesterday. I was gonna make a video about it late night after the podcast, but then I got really tired. I decided, you know what, I'll talk about it today during my nightly videos. But after waking up today and going through, social media, reading the news and seeing the horrible reaction that Barcelona fans have had to this news, I said, okay, this cannot wait till tonight when I make my video. So instead, I'm right now during lunch at work, and I've decided I have to talk about this. This cannot wait. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, as we know, we do have an upcoming presidential election in 2026 to decide who will be the next FC Barcelona president. And of course, it's expected that it's not expected anymore. It's official now. Victor Font will be running again against Joan Laporta. Now, Victor Font ran against Laporta in the last election, but he lost, and now he will be running again. And yesterday, Victor Font held an event in Barcelona in order to officially announce himself as a candidate for the 2026 presidential elections, and also to introduce his platform, what he hopes to achieve if he ends up winning the presidency. Now, one of the people present at his event was Xavi Hernandez. He was present there. He was sitting there amongst the public watching the presentation of Victor Font. And even after the presentation was over, Xavi Hernandez walked up to Victor Font, and they were seen hugging and embracing and etc. Now, Xavi did not speak to the press. However, I think this is a clear signal that Xavi Hernandez is endorsing Victor Font, that he's backing Victor Font as the next president of FC Barcelona rather than Joan Laporta. Now, why is this news? It normally wouldn't be. After all, Xavi Hernandez is a club soci, and like any club soci, they have the right to pick whatever candidate they like and to vote for whatever candidate they like. But unfortunately, this is news not for the good reasons, but instead for bad reasons, because this has somehow evoked some horrible reaction from Barcelona fans, where I've been seeing all day since yesterday people calling Xavi Hernandez a traitor, and even going as far as calling him Judas. Because Xavi Hernandez, as a club soci, is exercising his right to pick whatever candidate he likes. They're calling him Judas. Now, this to me is absolute insanity. I think we have lost our mind as Barcelona fans, and we have lost the essence of what it means to be a Barcelona fan. Because you know that famous saying that más que un club, more than a club? That's not just any saying. That has a meaning behind it. And one of the meanings behind más que un club is that we are fortunate enough, we are blessed enough to have a club that not only is it owned by its own members, but that those members can elect who they want to run the club. They can pick which president they want to run the club every 6 years, and then at the end of the 6 years, they can grade that president by either voting him again and saying you did a good job, so you're getting elected again, or by saying, you know what, you did a terrible job, you're getting voted out. Let's see what the next guy has to offer. And that to me is a beautiful thing. The fact that we have a democratically ran club where the socios get to decide who is president, I think that's a beautiful thing, because I would much rather have that style of governance in our club rather than Real Madrid, where it's just Florentino Perez and the club, they do whatever the hell he wants to do, and there's no one to oppose them. I would much rather be like Barcelona, where we can pick who can be our president, and we can have a say in how the club is ran. And this is a beautiful thing. But unfortunately, for many fans out there, apparently, más que un club is only a beautiful thing when it's convenient for them, when it's about the candidate that they prefer. But when it's about other candidates, all of a sudden, screw all that. Screw más que un club, screw having a democratically elected club. No. Xavi is now a traitor. Xavi is now Judas for exercising his right as a Barcelona soci, as a Barcelona legend, to choose the candidate that he wants. Now, the funny thing is that many of these people who are calling Xavi Hernandez a Judas for exercising his right is the same people they used to call people like me who criticized Xavi Hernandez for his coaching performance, not for his personal choices or for who he is as a person. No, for his performance as a coach, which is what you're supposed to do. You know, I always mention this point, like when people talk about Lamine Yamal and his girlfriend and who's he dating. I'm like, it's none of your goddamn business. He's a football player. He gets paid to be a football player. So the only thing you can judge him on is how he performs on the field. Same thing with Xavi Hernandez. He was a coach, and therefore the only thing you can judge him on is how he performed as a coach, which to me was mediocre, and that's why I criticize him. But these people who are calling Xavi Hernandez Judas were the same people who are calling people like me who criticize Xavi as a coach of not being a Barcelona fan, of being a Madridista, of not being loyal, or whatever the hell they wanted to call us back when Xavi was the coach, which is absolutely hilarious, by the way, because let me ask you this. Now that you're calling Xavi Hernandez Judas, are you a Barcelona fan or are you a Laporta fan? Because as a Barcelona fan, what you're supposed to be doing is celebrating the fact that we have a club that's democratically ran, that we have a club where socios get a say on what candidate they vote for, and they get a say on who runs the club as the president. But instead, you're forgetting all that. You're throwing all of that out the window just because you don't like who the candidate is. And I'm sorry, but that's not how democracy works. Democracy is you have different candidates, they each present their platform, and everyone has the right to choose the candidate that they want, and the winner gets to run the club. You don't get to say, oh, I love how democratically ran we are as long as people supporting the candidate I want, but if it's not the candidate that I want, then fuck it, throw it out the window. This is the same idiotic arguments that we hear from Madridistas all the time when we talk about the World Cup, where if it's Messi that wins it, it's rigged, but if it's not, well, it's fine, right? Or the Ballon d'Or, or the many, many examples. And honestly, it's pretty sad to see how the Barcelona fan base has lost its mind, because to go as far as calling Xavi Judas because he supports a different candidate than they do is absolutely disgusting, and it says more about them than Xavi Hernandez, because Xavi is just exercising his right. Now, Joan Laporta did respond to Xavi Hernandez supporting Víctor Font, and this is what the Barcelona president had to say. I wasn't surprised that Xavi was there, and I thought he was free to do whatever he wants. I'm not surprised because in the past he had a relationship with Víctor Font. All Barca fans can do what they think is appropriate. We're not in the middle of an election campaign yet, so I won't comment on everything. And to that, I say I 100% agree with you, Joan Laporta, because Xavi Hernandez, as a soci, he has the right to pick whatever candidate he wants to pick. But to call him Judas, to call him a traitor, I'm sorry. But the one who with a problem here is not Xavi Hernandez, it's you. Because that's not how democracy works. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say about the topic. Very unfortunate to see some reaction, this kind of reaction from Barcelona fans. But honestly, at this point, I'm no longer surprised. Unfortunately, social media has given a stage to, well, many irrational people out there who think that if you don't agree with them, you're not a Barcelona fan, you're a Judas, you're a traitor, and I'm sorry, but that's not how it works. If you have not been taught how to deal with different opinions, with different viewpoints than yours, it doesn't mean that the other person who's disagreeing with you is an idiot or is a traitor or is a Judas. It just means that they think differently from you. And that's a beautiful thing, because after all, diversity in thought is how we got to where we are now as a human race. And if you can't see that, then the problem is not other people, it's you. You need to look in the mirror. You need to search very deeply within you, because the one who was the problem here is you, not us. Anyways, that is all I wanted to say. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will be making videos later tonight, so I'll see you guys in those videos. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Visca Barça.